Hi, everybody, and welcome to step one of the Carmichael Estate. In this video, we're going to be looking at the project setup, linking CAD to Revit, and level setup. So this is the first time opening Revit 25 on my laptop. We're going to set it up based on what we've learned in class. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to hit New under Model. And because we use the imperial system in the United States, we're going to make sure that in the dropdown, we select Imperial Multidiscipline. We're going to create a new project, and then we're going to click OK. This is what it will look like when you first open Revit. Notice your properties and project browser are stacked over on the left. As we've learned in class, we're going to put our properties on the right and our project browser on the left. So we're going to click and hold right here on the words project browser. Doing that will drag the project browser from the left side, and now we need to bring it to the right side. If you let go of your mouse, it will stay as a floating window. If you notice, my window is not maximized, it's minimized so that I can see the background of my screen slightly. I'm going to click and hold and drag it to where it's slightly off my screen and on my screen. You'll notice that I'm getting that blue highlighted bar. That's where it wants to anchor, though you may just see a very light line and not always this full-on gray bar. So I'm going to drag and drop it and let it catch. Now that we've got that set up, I'm going to go ahead and change this from light mode, where the background is white, to dark mode. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Options. I'm going to go to Colors, and then Canvas Color Scheme. I'm going to change to dark. You can also adjust any other settings in this color file as you become familiar with your selections, alerts, and so forth. However, my recommendation while you're still new to Revit is to leave everything as is and just change it to dark mode and or light mode. And go ahead and click OK. Once you do that, you'll notice the background changes to black. Next, we're going to go ahead and save our project. Go to File, go to Save As, and save it as a project. From there, you're going to save it in the location of your choice. I'm going to save it under my Wade College OneDrive. I'm going to right-click, create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Carmichael Estate Course Homework. Then I'm going to double-click on the new folder that I've just created so that I can save it inside the folder. Again, I'm going to call it Carmichael Estate underscore my name. And then I'm going to call it level setup because this is what I'm going to use to create all of the levels for these videos. You'll give it a minute to save. And then in that folder, you'll go to your file and you'll see it's here in the file just as you set it up. It's a .rvt file for .revit. What I'd like to do is show you the difference between a backup file and a standard file. I'm going to go ahead and hit save one time, even though we haven't done anything. Then I'm going to open this folder back up. You'll notice our main file is just the name of the file .rvt. The name of the file with 001.rvt is your first backup file. So if you lose your file and need to back up and open your backup, this is your backup file. Every time I hit save, it's going to create a backup version. See, when I hit save again, it gave me backup file number 2. But the file that you're working in is your main file, will not have the numbers after it. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and set up levels. To set up levels, what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in to our elevations. And if you'll notice, you already have your north, south, east, and west exterior levels set up in Revit. These are predefined and pre-set up. What I like to do and what I tend to do is just go to my south elevation. I zoom in and I just get really comfortable zooming and panning. To zoom in, you use the wheel of your mouse, and to zoom out, you use the wheel of your mouse. To pan, meaning to move the project left and right, you hold the wheel of your mouse down and move it where you want to move it. So right now, because my project is in the center, I'm just going to zoom in to my south exterior elevation. I'm going to select it once, and I know it's selected because it's this dark cyan color. I'm going to right click once and hit go to or go to elevation view. There are level 1 and level 2 set up. I'm going to go ahead and set up level 3 and level 4 because in the Carmichael estate, there is level 1, 2, 3, and 4. Though on level 4, there's nothing that you'll have to draw. It is simply your roof. So just to show you your elevation view of the Carmichael estate, this is the exterior front elevation of the Carmichael estate. You'll notice level 1 is at 0. Level 2 is at 3 feet because the first living level of the Carmichael estate is 3 feet off the ground. Level 3 is at 15 feet and level 4 is at 28 feet. So I'm going to click on my architecture tab. While I'm in my elevation, I'm going to go to the datum panel and I'm going to click level. Now, in Revit 25, you want to make sure that this create plan view is checked. If it is not, go ahead and check it. Once it's checked, you'll notice that my cursor has changed from an arrow to a plus sign. And as I hover off the levels, it gives me feet dimensions. You can use that as a guideline. So to create my level, just to keep things nice and clean, I'm going to try my best to align it with level 1 and 2. And I'm not going to worry about the feet. I'll change the height of it after I create the level. And I'm just going to drag it out and align it with level 1 and level 2 over here, just to keep my project clean. Notice it created level 3 floor plans to match level 2 and level 1. We can always rename and put the dash architectural if you'd like, simply by highlighting, right-clicking one time, and selecting rename. Then you'll click inside the blue box and type out architectural if you'd like. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And then you just simply click out of it and it will ask you if you want to rename the corresponding level. In this case, I'm going to say no, because what it would do is it would just add the word architectural right after this level. And I want to keep the nomenclature pretty simple as far as level 1, level 2, and level 3. I'm going to repeat the step to add level 4. Make sure I'm still on my architecture tab. Go to my datum panel, click level, make sure create plan view is created. Click once, drag over, and click again. And there it's created level 4. Now what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to I'm going to look at my levels and verify my height and change my heights to match what's in my CAD plan. So I'm going to zoom into level 2. I'm going to double click on this 12 feet and I'm going to change it to 3 feet and hit enter. And you'll notice it moved down to 3 feet. This is 3 feet off of level 1, off of level 100, meaning your ground level. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to double click on the 24 and I'm going to change that to 15 feet for level 3. Again, this is 15 feet off of level 1. And I'm going to repeat the process for level 4 based on my CAD plan. And on my CAD plan, it's 28 feet and it will move 28 feet off of level 1. Now, so like that, we don't accidentally move our levels. We're going to go ahead and add some dimensions and we're going to lock them. There's 2 ways to add dimensions. You can use your keyboard shortcut and pay attention to my mouse as I do this, or you can use your ribbon. First, I'm going to go ahead and use my keyboard by hitting the letters D as in David, I as in igloo, and that is your shortcut for dimension, DI. You'll notice that my cursor changes to a white arrow with a dimension strand next to it, and my properties changes to reference dimensions. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight level 1. So when I hover over level 1, it turns blue, and I'm going to click it once, and then I'm going to highlight over level 2, and I'm going to click it once, and then it still leaves it unanchored. So what you have to do is drag it off to the side and just make it a nice habit of dragging off to the side and making the project legible, just in case you have to share your file with anyone. 1, make it easy to read for your professors. 2, make it easy to read for anyone you're working on a project with. So after I drag it off to the side, I'm going to click it once. This little lock will appear, and I'm going to go ahead and click it to lock it. That's essentially telling Revit that I do not want to change any heights from level 1 to level 2, that it must stay 3 feet apart. Now, I'm going to repeat this process, except I'm going to show you how to do it from your ribbon, just using your mouse. So up here in your ribbon, go to your tabs, go to annotate, and go to align. And the same thing will happen. The cursor changes from my pink cursor or whatever your cursor references to a white arrow with the dimension strand. Now this time I want to take a dimension from level 2 to level 3 and level 3 to level 4. So I'm going to hover over level 2, make sure it's blue, click it once, and repeat the process to level 3. But I'm going to do a continuous strand, meaning I don't have to stop my dimensions until I'm ready to. So after I click level 3, I'm going to go up and click level 4 and drag it over, align it with my 3-foot dimension, and click once. You'll notice 2 locks appear. I'm going to go ahead and click each lock. Now you can see that the distance between level 2 and level 3 is 12 feet, and the distance between level 3 and level 4 is 13 feet. Now I can hit escape. My levels are set up and I'm ready to adjust and start importing. I'm sorry, not importing, linking our CAD to our Revit. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to level 1. I'm going to zoom out. And assuming that you have already downloaded all your CAD-based plans and saved them to a location on your computer that you know where it's at, I'm going to go ahead and start linking. So the first thing to do is go to Insert. Now on your ribbon, you'll notice you have Link CAD. That's the 3rd icon, or 4th really if you count the modify arrow from the left. And you also have Import. Make sure you're always clicking link. We want to establish that live link just in case we need to modify anything in our CAD file. So I'm going to go ahead and click link file. I'm going to put in this area where it says look in, I'm just going to click that arrow and I'm going to go to my Wade College OneDrive. I have mine saved under for recordings and Carmichael-based files. Yours may be in a different location. Now, each level, when you download them, should be corresponding to the level that they need to go on. I'm going to highlight level 1. Under colors, in class, we talked about changing it to black and white. It's completely up to you. Changing it black and white to black and white will change the lines from whatever colors they are set in per level in AutoCAD. It will change them all to black or all to white based on the background of Revit. If you have the light background, it'll change the lines to black. If you have the dark background, it'll change the lines to white. But because I have a black background, and I think it will be easier for you guys to view and understand as we learn to trace our walls, I'm going to leave my colors set to preserve. Now, keep in mind, if you keep your colors as preserved, meaning whatever color they're done in AutoCAD, they will stay that way in Revit. It will be hard to see with a light background anytime you have used yellow. So I'm going to use preserve. Then under layers and levels, I'm going to leave it to visible. Essentially, that just means I'm only going to be able to see the layers that are visible in AutoCAD. Import units, I'm going to use as detect, meaning that if in AutoCAD I have it set up as decimals versus inches and feet, it would set it up as decimals, or vice versa. If I have it set up as inches and feet, it will understand that I'm using inches and feet in Revit. So use auto detect under this category. Positioning is origin to origin. You could use center to center, meaning you just want it to bring your file to the center. But you should use origin to origin because we need practice on moving the file. And because we're working on level 1, we're going to place it at level 1. Then we're going to hit open. If you notice, it placed at level 1 in the lower left corner. That's because it has positioned itself on the X and Y axis based on where it is in AutoCAD. Now, keep in mind, if you are collaborating with any architects or any other designers outside or any other trades outside of what you're doing, you do not want to move the base file because it's a collaborated live file. But because we are practicing, we're going to move the file to the center, and this is only our file, and only your professor and yourself will see it and be working at this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to unpin it. When I hover over this little pin right here, all I have to do is click it once to unpin it. At that point, I can then hit move, and I'm just going to eye it center to center, vertical and horizontal. Then I'm going to repin my file. Now it should be pinned to level 1. We're going to repeat the process in level 2. However, we're going to have to align it vertically and horizontally. We're going to align it to this lower left corner of the house. Go ahead and open level 2. And then in your quick access toolbar at the top of your screen, go ahead and close your inactive views. That's going to close any other views that you had open right here. Now, while you have level 2 open, go ahead and open level 1. Now that we have these 2 levels, I want you to use your keyboard and type the letters WT or window tile. Just to show you the difference, window tile will go ahead and open any windows you have. So be careful and make sure you close too many active views that you have open so that you only have 2 windows. You'll notice in level 1, it's highlighted, it's not half-toned, it's fully colored, all of the colors are vibrant. In level 2, you can see level 1 because it's like you're standing on level 2 looking down at level 1. Therefore, it's half-toned so you understand the difference between level 1 and level 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close level 1. I just wanted to show you the difference and also how to window tile in case that helps you while you're working. I'm going to now insert link CAD and select level 2. All of this should be set up based on the last the last link that we did. The only difference should be place at level 2. And then I'm going to hit open. Notice that level 1 is halftone, level 2 is vibrant. The first thing we need to do so that we're able to move it is unpin it. So make sure you unpin it. Now we're going to zoom in to our lower left corner of level 1, and we know it's the lower left corner because it's half-toned. And then we're going to align vertically first, and then we're going to align horizontally. So you're going to go to your ribbon, and in your tabs, you're going to click Modify. Get this little guy out of the way. I'm going to go to Modify, and then I'm going to click Align. Now remember, when you align, you click where you want it to go first, then what you want to move. And let's just make sure we understand the differences in the wall. Well, this whole thing is your exterior wall. This is the part of the exterior wall that is physically on the outside. This is your finished wall that is on your inside, but because it's part of the envelope of a building, it's still your exterior wall. The envelope of the building is each wall that is on the exterior side to create the building's outline. So while we're aligning, we want to click the vertical exterior wall on the outside one time, zoom out and click, then zoom in to level 2 and click that same line on level 2. You zoom out and pan, you'll notice it aligned vertically. We want to repeat those same steps horizontally. So we're going to zoom in and you see level 1, again, it's halftone. We're going to hover until we get the exterior wall on the outside, zoom out, pan to the same wall on the second level, and then click the wall. You'll notice it's all moved and stacked on top of each other. Now we're going to hit escape. We're going to select level 2 and we're going to pin it. Now we're going to repeat those same steps on level 3. So go ahead and open level 3, but you'll notice you can't see level 2. You have to adjust the underlay. The underlay essentially is what you're looking at when you're standing on the level above. So if you think about class or think about school, our school is on level 4. And when you're standing in the computer lab, if you were to look down, you'd see the room right under level 4. If it was transparent, you'd see the level 3 room. So that's what we want to do. We want to create that underlay so we see what is below level 3. That you can find in your properties because, again, remember, your properties is like your control panel. We're going to go from none to level 2. So in your properties, find the word underlay, find range base level. When you click on the word none one time, this arrow will appear and that creates a drop down. Click that drop down and select level 2. Now look, you can now see a halftone of level 2. So let's repeat the same steps for importing level 3, pinning it and aligning, or aligning and then pinning. Go to Insert, Link CAD, and select level 3. Again, everything should remain the same as it did prior, except for place at. It should be placed at level 3. Go ahead and hit open. And again, right after you import it, the first thing you should do is unpin it. After you unpin it, in your ribbon, go to the tabs and select Modify. And then go to the Modify panel and select Align. We're going to use those same corners. So zoom into the lower left corner, click it once, zoom out, and align it vertically. Click that same corner. So now it's aligned vertically, and we need to finish by aligning horizontally. Zoom in, and you'll see right here in that corner, it's really hard to see, but this halftone is your level 2, and this is why it's very important to understand what you're looking at and understand the halftone versus the vibrant. And this is where I think the colors will help you. We're going to tab or hover until we catch level 2. So I'm going to click it once, and I'm going to pay attention to where I'm aligning and what wall I'm grabbing, because I need to grab that same wall on level 3. And because I'm catching the exterior part of this horizontal wall right here closer to the door, I'm going to pan down and zoom in and look for that same wall, and then click Align. Now it's aligned perfectly. I'm going to hit Escape. I'm going to select level 3, and I'm going to pin it. Okay, now we're going to turn off our underlays. We're going to go back to our properties, back to our underlay, and our base range. We're going to change it to none, and then click out of it. You can click anywhere in the space to click out. Then I'm going to go back to level 2, and I'm going to go to underlay, and I'm going to change it from level 1 to none. And then even though there shouldn't be anything above or below level 1, I'm just going to go to level 1, and I'm going to verify. Now all of our layers are, all of our levels and layers are set up within AutoCAD and linking it to Revit. What I'm going to do now is just show you what it looks like while it's stacked. It may be slightly overwhelming because it's just a bunch of flat lines, but I'll just show you what it looks like 3-dimensionally. Just out of habit, I'm going to go ahead and close out any inactive views. Before I go to my 3D view, I'm going to go ahead and save it one more time. And then just to show you in my saves, here is my third save. And my current save is what I'm working on. Now I'm going to go to the 3D view. And you'll see in your 3D view, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. And while this looks confusing, as we start to build our walls and start to build our floors and ceilings, you'll start seeing the house come to life, and then we'll start to turn off all of the different views. But currently, this is how you set up levels, link AutoCAD, and set up the user interface for dark or light mode. And that's it for this current lesson.